Hi, and welcome to VR for Work. Today is December 27th. And we hope that you all are back from a great Christmas holiday and getting ready to start a wonderful new year. I know 2021 is going to be an exciting year for VR, and we've got lots of things in store here at VR for Work. Let's start with just a little bit of news. You know that I use the Lumi avatar in front of you here at VR for Work to represent myself here in the metaverse and in my videos. Well, Loom AI, who produces the avatar that you're seeing in front of you, has now been purchased by Roblox and effectively will be stopping their use of the Lumi avatars mid next year, June, I think. And so once again, I'm going to chalk it up to the success of being represented here at VR for Work. You'll remember that initially we started out using Loom with Spaces, and then the Spaces dev team got purchased by Apple. And now we have Loom AI, who's now getting purchased by Roblox. Is it a coincidence that we've used them both here at VR for Work and they've gone on to great success? Well, I'll let you decide that. But we'll move on now and talk about today's topic. Today, we're going to be talking about a really innovative, exciting meeting and collaboration space called MeetinVR. Now, I've been keeping an eye on MeetinVR for some time and find it to be one of the most exciting and innovative meeting and collaboration spaces out there for VR today. It works on Oculus, Windows Mixed Reality, and Vive, and they have a special partnership with Vario to do some really interesting things using AR. That's kind of outside the scope of our discussion today, but something you'll want to check out if you're interested in that element of MeetinVR on their website. They have a Windows and Mac desktop client, so folks in Flatland or in 2D are able to join from their desktop. Now, the way MeetinVR structures its environments are very functionally oriented, and you can kind of see a flow. So you look at the 4 specific rooms that they offer right now. You can see a discussion space, a brainstorm space, an agile scrum environment, and a lecture hall. So if you think about this, you know, you can see the flow from discussing a concept, brainstorming and bringing structure to that concept, going into an agile and scrum room and planning around that concept, and then presenting it in the lecture hall. And this kind of immediately caught my attention as something that really made sense in terms of the rooms that are being offered. Now, they also have 3 new areas in development that are coming soon. A 3D room to stage and review 3D objects like FBXs and OBJs. And then you've got a workshop room with breakout spaces, and then you've got a play space, right? That's coming first part of next year. Now, with these environments, you're able to wrap them in 12 different 360 environments. And then again, this was another really nice touch that I enjoyed because I could take my brainstorming space, and I'll show you this when we do the review clip in just a moment. But I could change that space to either be a floating platform in the clouds, to an evening outside the city of Dubai. And each of these can kind of set a tone and a mood for a meeting that you're having. And then you have the tablet UI that manages all the in-app functions and tools, right? Like 3D inking, sticky notes that have 3 methods of input. You can type in them, you can actually physically write on them with 3D pen, and then voice dictation. Then you can access cloud files from your tablet. And again, we'll demonstrate all this in just a moment. You have a camera app for selfies and then for taking snaps of contents in the room. And then when you get a account with MeetinVR, you're able to set up a team. And then once you have team rooms assigned to you, any content that you put in those rooms are retained in there persistently, so that as you're working in there as a group, you may do some work and then people can drop in when they have time or want to go back and review or add some content, and then that content will be there as you meet again or as other folks enter the room. Now, the tablet interface, again, this is kind of the secret sauce and where most of the action is in MeetinVR. Where you access your files, you can give reactions so that if you're in a discussion area or you are in the lecture hall, you can give thumbs up, you can go, I can hear you, or I'm having trouble hearing you. And that kind of pops out the top of your head for the speaker to be able to view and respond to. This is where you access your cameras, and I have that in there purpose plural because you have still camera. And then on the PC version, you also have a recording capability, which I'm really, really excited about because I think the future of minutes of meetings are actually recordings of meetings. Okay, so notes and recordings, you have the voice notes, you have the image snapshots, and this is also where your video recordings from the PC version go. The go-to is where you go to actually select one of those 12 360 environments. Again, to set the mood for your session. Avatars, we're going to talk about in a minute. They've recently partnered with a avatar company, Wolf 3D, to create your avatar. You used to launch your avatar from a series of stock avatar images on the tablet. That's gone now, and you actually get a photo-based avatar designed by Wolf 3D, and we'll show you that. And then there's a experimental web browser option on the tablet also. It also is where you will find your 3D pen for inking in 3D space, as well as on notes and objects. And then your controller, which manipulates and moves objects in the world. You've got a wristwatch on your left wrist that is always there for your tablet access. And this really innovative grab and throw to get rid of objects in the world that I think is a really great mechanic, and we'll go over that during the loop. And so with that, let's go ahead and jump in. And so when you first come in, you're actually greeted right here by the tablet that you're going to use in space. You can pick one of the 4 team rooms. We're going to go into the brainstorm space. It'll download and update the room if there are any updates to it. And then you get dropped in. And then as you drop in, you'll notice that we're kind of in this very airy, open 3D environment. You can kind of go outside onto this wooden patio. But as I scan back in the room, you can see that it contains kind of 3 glass walls with 6 really large whiteboards. On those whiteboards is a variety of content. I've got some videos over on the left-hand side, a bunch of sticky notes on one, a lot of inking. I've got a graphic up there, the VR for work kind of emblem kind of floating at the top. As we scan around the room some more, there's a PDF, some more inking, and each of these boards has the capability to be saved. We'll come back to that. I want to first go over and talk about these 3D environments. And here you'll see, right now I'm kind of surrounded by this lush green environment, this mountainous area, but I'm going to personalize this space, and we'll first pick space. So I can actually change the world around me so that we're hovering above Earth in space, or I could pick Dubai skyline in the evening. And you might hopefully immediately grasp how this can really change the mood of a meeting. Now here's Miami Beach, bright and sunny, versus Dubai, which was evening and relaxed, versus out in space, which is very airy, open, and vast. But being winter here and around Christmas time, I kind of wanted the snowy valley, and so that's what I selected. That, I really believe, goes a long way to affecting your mood and your mind space to be about the work that you're getting ready to get yourself involved in as you come into these spaces. So we'll move back in. And again, you see the 3 large glass walls with the big whiteboards, and we're going to open files. Now, files gives you 3 options. There's personal files, which are just accessible by and to you. The team files, which are shared by everybody that's on your team. And then you can also link up to Microsoft OneDrive and access all the content that you might have in your OneDrive folder. So I'm just kind of clicking through these to show the files, and then the OneDrive file type that's here. And I can see I've got thousands of files in here in my VR for Work folder, and I can open and load that. And then I have access to all this content, hundreds and hundreds and thousands of files that I can access there. So I like that integration piece. The camera, pretty self-explanatory. Here's the avatar selfie view. And then I can flip the camera around to the front, and I can take pictures of the content in the room, which is kind of handy. Reactions, pretty self-explanatory. You can leave a message for folks. You can jump from room to room. So if we're done here in the brainstorm room and I want to go to the conference room, I can kind of say, come on, everyone, let's meet in the conference room and talk about what we just did. Now, notes is really kind of the heart of the tablet. And this is where all your sticky notes, all your recordings, all your snapshots are saved for access later. And if you save them here in World, you can log into the MeetinVR website and access all this content also. So if I pull up a sticky note and I tap on it, I'm going to get a keyboard, and I can, one finger type out a message. Good enough, right? Although I'm not a big fan of having to type in VR. If I hit the little hand symbol in the upper right-hand corner, I can pop that out and it becomes a 3D object. And then I can grab it and grab my pen and I can write on that 3D object. Now, the way MeetinVR has accomplished this, obviously there's no pressure feedback, but when the tip of the pen meets an object, right, you get a slight vibration to give you that tactile feedback that you're ready to write. You pull the trigger and ink dispenses. And so here you are. So you can write on these notes as well as type on these notes. So I can do that, and then I can grab the controller, and with the laser pointer, right, I can then toggle that 3D objects with my joystick. I can push it forward, I can pull it back, and if I go left and right, I can shrink it and grow it in size. But then, this is what I like is the voice dictation. So I can toggle that voice dictation, and I can say, let's voice dictate a note. I'm going to pop that out into 3D space, grab it, and go, oh, I've got a mistake here. And, again, just another example of using the pen, and I can, kind of correct that text. And in this case now, I want to stop here just a second. What I'm getting ready to do so that you can pay attention is I kind of lost my controller here underneath all these objects. And you'll see me grab things and kind of just toss them away. And this is a really, really neat mechanic that is very intuitive, I think, and very useful in a 3D environment while you're working in VR. And then with my magic Dick Tracy wristwatch on my left wrist, I can tap that and everything comes back in context with where it is. Now, what I'm doing here is I've gone into the web browser feature, and there's some limitation to the web browser feature. It works fine. You can see me using it here. I can look things up, but right now you're not able to extract that and share it with the room, if you will. I've talked to the VR or the MeetinVR team, and that is on the roadmap very soon to be able to take the web browser, pop it out, and share it in 3D space, which I think will be a really great and powerful tool. But again, it's a browser. I look up MeetinVR, I can move through it, no big deal. So I could take the pen, and then this is just an example of how not only on a surface, but in 3D space, you can write, right? You do the And I can grab it when I'm done with it and I throw it away. I can throw the pen away. I can throw the tablet away, tap my wristwatch, and I'm right back where I was. That is just really, really innovative to me. All right, so I can grab things with, and this is how you manipulate things in World. So with the mouse pointer and the controller, I can grab that JPEG, the VR for Work JPEG, and move it around the room. And now and again, I'm just kind of moving things around. Now, movement in MeetinVR is all teleport. It never bothered me that I felt like I couldn't smooth locomote. It's not like these spaces are huge or that I'm looking to walk around. So it's not a deal to me. And then this is just an example, writing on the whiteboard. Now, you can change the ink color by toggling your joystick right or left, and then you'll circle through all the colors on the kind of the color wheel that's there on the pen. And if you depress the joystick in, it'll actually flip around to the eraser, and then you can erase actually on the whiteboard also. So really good, clean, helpful mechanics that I think are easy. And again, just looking at content here, I've got a couple of videos that I've placed in the room that I can pull up and run. And in fact, we're going to take another look at some of these other spaces in a minute. This is in the auditorium space that you're seeing on the screen right now. And then the one beside it is in the discussion space. Here's a bunch of inking, and then how I can stack content or sticky notes on top of one another, as you might do as you're planning a session. All right, and then you can see all the different rooms here, the auditorium, and I can jump into that. And I think we're gonna save this and go on because we're gonna actually look at the auditorium a little bit more in depth here. And so this is actually two videos I made using the recording feature in MeetinVR, taking place in the auditorium space. Now this is, you can have 32 folks in this room in the audience and the speaker, and you actually are able to kind of pull out a, it looks like a big handheld video recorder. But I wanted to give you a sense of how this looks and how clean and elegant the room is. I'm a big fan of this space in this room. I hope to be able to record my shows in the future here. I'm talking to the devs about that and working through some of the technical issues with it, but wanted to give you a sense of the scale and use of a location like the lecture hall. And this is, and I was recording these actually simultaneously. There's a camera floating around up front close to the video on your left, and one I placed at the back of the hall on your right to give you a sense of direction and scale. Okay. Let's move on from here and talk a little bit about their partnership with Wolf 3D and the new avatars. And again, I'm a big fan of these avatars. They are now using photographic images of you to actually create the likeness. And I was pretty happy with how mine turned out and how I see others represented. There's another app that actually uses a picture of your face and puts it on a model that I think particularly looks unsettling. And I much prefer these kind of, I mean, they're artificial, but the likenesses is enough there that it's not off-putting, and you feel like you're actually talking or dealing with an individual across the room from you. This is actually a picture of a group from the VR for Work Facebook page using the Wolf 3D avatars. We had a meeting here in the brainstorm space at MeetinVR in the VR for Work team space. And Tom and Nicholas and Raphael and Kathy and Tomas from MeetinVR, we met there earlier in December and kind of got a tour. And again, this kind of gives you a sense of how the avatars turned out. I like, they just seem very clean and natural to me. Now, in terms of cost, you can see that you can start at up to 20 users at 35 euros a month, all the way if you go to 51 plus, that brings it down to 25 users per month. And then if you're a larger enterprise and you're talking about hundreds and thousands of users, you certainly want to reach out and talk to the VR, VR for Work, to MeetinVR about custom packages and costs and how they might be able to best support you that way. Now, I actually took this off of the VR for Work, keep VR for Work, the MeetinVR site. And, you know, I think this is something that companies and business owners really need to start wrestling with a little bit more. You know, I have been in healthcare and IT for over 30 years now, and I've been in meetings and I've been in rooms and sat there and tried to calculate the cost of the dozens of individuals that are sitting in these rooms, the cost of the room, the meal that's being provided, the travel time and the travel cost, the carbon cost. And you know, I think a lot of times businesses up till now have just kind of said that's a cost of doing business, we absorb it, and that's an expectation. But I think, you know, this pandemic has maybe woken up some awareness and sensitivities to some of these things. And it's time to start calculating some of these, what they would normally call soft costs, and start understanding how platforms like MeetinVR can impact that and what that means, you know, both from a cost perspective, but again, also from a social responsibility perspective, and that really does make a difference and add up over time. So what about MeetinVR from, you know, the VR for Work assessment model? Well, you know, this is all about meeting and collaboration. I think we've got a great set of tools, a good start anyway. We've got a set of rooms that are very functionally oriented and make a lot of sense to me. And I can see working and being very effective and efficient in these spaces. I think, you know, it's absolutely at the top of my list from a social and collaboration aspect. And, you know, if you just look at this little icon here under collaboration with the handshaking, you know, something that's fallen out of favor lately because of the pandemic and social distancing. And MeetinVR has this unique, again, little mechanic where two avatars can actually reach out and lock hands and get that actual vibration feedback of doing a handshake. And again, I think that's something that really adds to that social element of being together. Very cool. And then again, the value. This is where I think business owners really have to start looking at some of those soft cost savings and how platforms like this can contribute to the bottom line. All right, so let's wrap up with this. It's not always that we need to do more, but rather that we need to focus on less. You know, I'm a big believer in this now, especially as I've gotten more and more into leveraging and using VR for productivity and training and education and meeting and collaboration. You know, it inherently helps you focus on the thing that's most in front of you. And I think as we get into platforms like MeetinVR, with the tool sets they provide, we can get more done by focusing on less in these locations and these spaces and these platforms that help us focus on the task at hand and get the job done that we're looking to get done. So we thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you'll continue to tune in. We've got so much in store for you. 2021 is going to be really big for VR for Work. We've got some changes coming up that we'll be announcing soon, some partnerships, and we look forward to bringing you so much more content in 2021. So thank you. Go check us out on Facebook at the VR for Work Facebook group. Follow us on Twitter, VR4WRK, work with no O. And email us at vrwrk@gmail.com if you need to reach out and contact us or have any questions. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the metaverse. Bye now.